Greetings, traveller from beyond the fog. Ah, do you see it? The faint wisps of golden light at the edge of your vision. It calls not only to you, but to all Tarnished, dragging them from distant graves and forgotten exile, bidding them rise and take up their forsaken duty here in the lands between. A land that was once whole, a realm where harmony reigned beneath the golden boughs of the Erd tree, where grace flowed freely into chosen souls and bound every living thing to the divine order of the greater will. The golden order, governed by the Elden Ring, that vast and living concept, the nexus of great runes embodying all law and form, and Queen Marika, eternal and radiant, as its vessel and enforcer. But that order lies in ruin. The Elden Ring has since been shattered by Marika's own hand, a betrayal that sundered the divine pact. In the wake of that treason, her accursed demigod children wages war upon each other for the shards of the great runes, drowning the realm in unending bloodshed. Thus began the shattering, an age of ruin from which the land has yet to wake. Yet all is not lost. Grace, long withdrawn, flickers once more. It threads through the broken earth, faint but unyielding, and calls the dead to rise. This is why you are here, is it not? Do you see it now? The rays of gold that pierce the fog, guiding you forward. They are both gift and burden, for they lead you toward the throne and all that lies before it. The air is heavy and damp in the cavern. A thick darkness hangs low. Far above, the world is closed. In this empty hollow of earth, there is no sky. There is no wind. Only cold stone high above and all around, and the steady rush of water through the riverbed below. The faint drip from stalactites echoes as each drip strikes rock at intervals, a slow rhythm that carries through the hollow space like distant chimes. She stands with him, her companion, her only constant on the rise above the water. Torrent. Her voice is a whisper, softer than the quiet, steady rush of the river. The spectral steed beside her gives no reply, but his gaze, like hers, is fixed below. In the shallows of the stream bed, at the foot of the stone steps of the stranded graveyard, a figure stirs beneath the golden shimmer of a small illusory tree, its branches bare. The tree's glow spreads in low arcs across the cavern, its light gathering in pools around slick stone and pale, dead roots. Motes of dust drift in the air like pollen, suspended in a stale current that does not move. Clutching their side, still breathless from the fall, they drag themselves upright, Their armor is dented, their eyes hollow, but something in them reflects the soft golden light, a fleeting flicker of determination, of will. Perhaps one other than I will serve them. Melina watches in silence. She has seen others rise, and she has seen them fall, again and again. But perhaps this one will be different. After all, Torrent has chosen them. She does not know why. In fact, she does not know much of anything. Not of her past, nor her purpose, nor the mother she never knew. Only this, that she was born at the foot of the Erd tree, and for that reason she must return to it. Only then may she know her true purpose, but she cannot do it alone. They yet live. Let us leave them, Torrent. We have aided them enough, for now. Her pale hand brushes the mane of the steed. He snorts once, soft and low, and nudges his nose into her palm. She lingers a moment longer, watching the Tarnished begin to stumble toward a pale ghostly figure seated on a chair. And at the foot of the seated figure is a gaping hole, a dark expanse that will lead the Tarnished to the cave of knowledge. There, they will discover the light of their first grace. There, they will learn. They will master the art of battle. And from there, they will take their first step into the lands between, the land where gods have fallen and grace has fractured. I will follow when the moment is right. And then, as quietly as they came, Melina and Torrent fade into ethereal specks of blue light like mist caught in the wind. And below, the Tarnished takes the plunge into the cave. Rise now, ye Tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Tarnished of no renown, cross the fog of the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord. The words echo in your mind, lingering like the toll of a distant bell. You do not know who spoke them, nor when. Your memory is fractured, reduced to fragments. The waking at the chapel of anticipation, the flash of steel, the stench of grafted flesh, and the screech in your ears. That monstrosity, stitched from the limbs of the fallen, would have slain you had the floor not given away beneath your feet. The plunge was long, the darkness longer, and yet, somehow, you survived. By whose hand and by whose grace, you do not yet know. All you know is to follow the golden threads of grace towards Stormvale Castle, according to the silken words of the man in the white mask, Vare, who almost seemed to be waiting for you as you took your first steps into Limgrave, into the lands between. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you, Tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, the path that a Tarnished must travel, even if it leads you to your grave. Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly, to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted. Now you draw breath again. Each inhale is sharp against your ribs, each exhale heavy with fatigue. Blood crusts against your skin, mingled with sweat, dirt and ash. Your body is a ledger of cuts and bruises, your limbs leaden from the fight that followed your emergence from the cave. Beyond the ridge, the world unfolds. Limgrave, a sweep of green plains and windswept hills. Trees rise in gold columns toward a sky marbled in pale light, their leaves shivering in the breeze. It is beautiful, it is strange, and it is dangerous. Already you have crossed blades with soldiers clad in tattered livery. His soldiers, Godric's men. Somehow you knew them on sight. You knew their allegiance. They came at you in numbers, them and their beasts, weapons flashing, and you struck them down one by one until only silence remained. And now you rest. At the gatefront ruins, where a fragment of grace burns amid weathered stone and trampled grass, the fire flickers low, sending ribbons of gold across your gaunt features and scattering long shadows behind you. The wind stirs the wild grass, carrying with it the scent of damp leaves, soil, and rain. You sit alone. The weight of the battle still clings to your shoulders, settling deep in your bones. Yet, amid the stillness, something changes. The air shifts. Before you can speak, before you can even tilt your head up, you see a glimmering shimmer of blue light in the corner of your eye. And from that light emerges a figure, a girl cloaked in earthen brown, her hooded face half hidden in the firelight. She stands at the edge of the circle of light, unmoving. Then, calmly and deliberately, she steps closer. Her boots press into the grass, a movement unhurried yet inevitable. Greetings, traveller from beyond the fog. I am Melina. She pauses, then steps closer and kneels before you as you sit at the Grace's bonfire, lifting back her hood. In the wavering golden light, her features are revealed, an almost sweet, heart-shaped face, youthful yet solemn, the curve of her jaw, and the careful stillness of her posture marked by restraint rather than fragility. A single eye, light brown, almost golden, bright and searching, meets your own. The other remains closed, marked with a curling sigil not unlike a crow's talon. I offer you an accord. Unmoved, you wait in silence, a stillness that invites her to speak again. Have you heard of the finger maidens? They serve the two fingers, offering guidance and aid to the Tarnished. She studies you as she speaks, her gaze steady, as though weighing your response before you give it. But you, I'm afraid, are maidenless. She pauses. The stillness is broken only by the wind's low moan through the ruined stones and long wild grass surrounding you. Sparks lift briefly from the grace at your side, carried into the dark before fading. Her words strike deeper than you expect. They echo Vare's. You do not yet understand the weight they carry, but you feel it. A hollowness that stirs in your chest, of something you did not know you had been missing. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. The runes that you have gathered so far are indeed nothing but useless trinkets in your hands. The firelight glints against the sigil on her closed eye, lending it an uncanny shimmer. You need only take me with you to the foot of the tree. Your gaze shifts towards the horizon, where the colossal trunk rises above the world, its golden light bleeding through the distant clouds. Even now, you cannot fathom reaching its roots. Could this stranger truly aid you in your journey there? Or does she seek it for reasons she does not name? You have lingered too long in thought. You turn to regard her once again, and with a slight nod of your head, she gives a faint smile of satisfaction. Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. The wind stirs again, carrying with it mingled scents of rain and blood from the battlefield beyond. Your hand unconsciously tightens on your sword hilt, a reflex born of habit, not distrust, yet she notices. Her brow lowers just slightly before smoothing again. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. She extends her palm. Resting there is a plain band of gold, unadorned yet warm in its glow. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect. In the distance, faint and fleeting, you hear the echo of hooves, or perhaps only imagine it. Your fingertips brush the ring as you take it. It is lighter than you expected, warm though no fire touches it. You look at her, at the girl with the sealed eye and measured voice. You do not know what she hides. You do not know if this accord binds you to salvation or ruin. But you do know this. Without her, you are alone. The road bends upward, cutting through cliffs and bristling with thorned shrubs. The air grows harsher as you ascend, colder and more bitter. Wind lashes your cloak, carrying grit and salt from the distant sea. The golden green expanse of Limgrave falls behind you, replaced with craggy slopes and the dark outline of a fortress etched against a churning, restless sky. Its towers pierce the clouds like broken spears. The exterior of the castle is mottled with craters lined with thorns. Twisted banners flap raggedly in the gale, and the Erdtree's light crowns the castle from behind, gilding its ruin in false sanctity. Melina's words echo in your mind as you press on. Upon the cliff in Castle Stormvale, is the Shard-bearer, a demigod who inherited a fragment of the shattered Elden Ring. If the rays of grace signal the castle, then the Elden Ring beckons you. As an ally by pact, I pray that you are fit to face the challenge presented by the ring. Your boots strike wet cobblestone. The path narrows into Stormgate, where shattered wagons and splintered shields litter the ground. Spears protrude from the earth like grave markers. There is no other sound. There is no other movement, save for the sound of your footsteps on the cobblestones and the wind's howl in your ears. Then, above you, a glimmer of gold catches your eye at the top of the smallest tower of the castle. A figure appears, hunched and deformed. Twisted horns curl from his brow. Ragged robes drag across the stones. His eyes burn pale gold beneath a hood drawn low. In his hand, a crooked staff shimmers with spectral light. The wind stills. The being, the creature, calls out to you. Foul Tarnished, in search of the Elden Ring, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame. He steps forward. The staff scrapes stone, echoing like distant thunder. Let it be Margit the Fell. The ground shudders as he brings down his gnarled pointed staff in an almighty swing. You dive aside. The stones crack where you stood just a heartbeat before. And the battle begins. Margit's attacks crash into the stones, spraying shards of wet cobble into the air. The shockwave rattles through your armor, numbing your arms even as you scramble to your feet. Rain slicks the stones beneath you, washing blood and mud into dark rivulets that seep between the cobblestones. He towers above you, a grotesque silhouette of crooked thorns and tattered robes. In the wind's howl, the soft chime of grace is drowned out by the rasp of his breath and the scrape of his staff along the ground. The wind blows and a putrid stench emanates from his hulking figure. Another strike. He summons a spectral hammer that arcs wide, trailing dazzling light in a searing afterimage. You roll beneath it, blade flashing upward in riposte. The edge bites into cloth, sparks against unseen armor beneath. Margit snarls in contempt. Thy ambitions shall be crushed. He conjures blades mid-air, curved knives of golden light, and flings them in rapid arcs. You raise your shield. 3 shatter against the wood. A 4th grazes your shoulder. Pain blossoms hot and sharp, but you hold fast. The wind screams through the gate. Lightning forks overhead. Every clash echoes between the walls like thunder trapped in a canyon. Margit presses forward, relentless. His strikes are brutal yet precise, each hammer swing a test, each blade thrown to herd you toward the edge of the battlements. You dodge, parry, and stagger. Blood runs warm down your arm. Your lungs burn. His hammer sweeps low. You leap over the arc in a miraculous reflex. Drive your blade into his side as your feet touch the ground. He reels and staggers and collapses to one knee. The storm roars around him. drowning out his final growl. Put these foolish ambitions to rest. He crumbles, dissolving into golden mist. The weight of his presence lifts with the wind, leaving only silence and the steady patter of rain on stone. You fall to one knee, chest heaving. The ground trembles faintly beneath you. Your hands shake as the adrenaline wanes, your blood mingling with rainwater. Through the storm's dim light, grace stirs, faint gold threading upward, calling you onward. With the last inch of energy in your bones, you stagger toward its reviving light, where you know she awaits, her warm hand outstretched, ready to turn your runes to strength. The storm howls around Stormvale's walls, wind clawing through every gap in its shattered stones, and tearing through gaping fissures snaked with thorns. Lightning flashes across the battlements, painting the sky white before plunging it back into grey. Rain sheets through the air, soaking the grass and pooling in the low stones where tarnished blood has almost washed away. Melina stands away from the grace, watching. The Tarnished sleeps nearby, armour dented and blood-stained, sword still within reach, even in rest. Even now their body is taut, fingers curled towards the hilt, chest rising and falling with the measured rhythm of exhaustion rather than peace. They are never truly at ease in this world. She doubts they could ever be, not in this god-forsaken land. Torrent approaches from the darkness beyond Grace's glow, the familiar low thud of his hooves echoing in the night. He presses his head lightly against her side, and she raises a hand to his muzzle, stroking along the line of his jaw in slow, practiced motions. "You trust them," she murmurs, voice barely carrying over the wind and storm. They move toward death without hesitation, again and again. Toward the throne, and I... The words die in her throat. I seek my purpose. Perhaps the Erd-tree will hold the answer. She looks away toward the distant silhouette of the Erd-tree beyond the storm. Its golden light is muted here, barely visible through the clouds, as though the storm itself presents its glow. You believe this Tarnished will be the one to bring me there. We shall see, Torrent. Her hand lingers against the noble goat's muzzle. He leans into the touch, then steps back, dissolving into mist as quietly as he came. Alone again, Melina closes her eyes. Behind the sealed lid, memory stirs. Fragmented impressions of fire and roots, of a mother's voice she cannot name, the echo of something calling her onward, faint and constant, like grace itself. When she opens her eye, the Tarnished still sleeps. The storm rages on, and the path through Stormvale waits, the path on which the Tarnished shall be tested. You are here now, where Vare and Melina and the light of grace have guided you. Stormvale Castle, to find and defeat Godric the Grafted, and claim a shard of the shattered Elden Ring. The first of many if you are to reach the throne and claim the title of Elden Lord. The path winds around the castle, narrow and tight along the cliffside. If you aren't careful, you would fall to yet another death. The birds along this secret path are fierce, screeching through the storm as they dive for you. But your blade finds them mid-flight, feathers and steel scattering the wind. That gatekeeper, Gostok, said there would be no guards here, but had made no mention of beasts such as these that would attack you at every turn. Finally, you reach an opening, overgrown with dead branches and thorns, and you climb your way through what appears to be a storeroom. Rot clings to every surface. Broken barrels leak stagnant liquid across the flagstones. You cut through patrolling knights, one by one as you wend your way through the dark stone corridors, the air thick with the stench of decaying corpses and dust. Something drives you to explore every nook and cranny of this castle. As you enter a doorway next to the petrified remains of a commoner, you hear the rusted iron door suddenly slam shut behind you with a heavy thud. And all you see is darkness, and all you hear is the faint echo of his laughter, Gostok's, and your heart sinks. You should never have trusted that decrepit gatekeeper, as suspicious as he seemed. He has locked you in the darkness with a formidable enemy, the banished knight, strong and agile with a sword that swings with a longer reach than it should, and a shield that he flourishes with a swirl of wind that knocks you back and staggers you. He fights with relentless precision, every strike shaking the chamber as sparks flare from clashing blades. His sword carves furrows in the stone where you stood just a moment before. Each dodge, each parry is earned in blood and anticipation. When you find your opening, you drive your blade inward with both hands, the sound of tearing metal drowned out by his final roar. He staggers and falls, his armor clanging and echoing about the chamber, his sword clattering across the stone floor. In the corner, you find a rusty key, and with shaking hands you feel your way through the dark and back towards the door, where you unlock it, and even the dim light of the corridor seems to hurt your eyes as you stumble through. You curse him, Gostok, that slimy bastard. You continue on, cutting through more soldiers, the path winding up to the castle rooftops where even more warhawks attack. They wheel behind tall spires, talons scraping sparks from stone as they dive. The storm turns each battle into a blur of feathers and steel, but you have found your stride, and your steel cuts them down in a single swing. The path down leads back into the castle's corridor, which narrow into a cavernous dining room, unsettling in its stillness. Long tables lie overturned, their rotted contents scattered among broken crockery. Chains sway from rafters above, suspending severed limbs, arms and legs mismatched, some blackened with age, others freshly taken. Flies hum in clouds. The air is sour with decay, and in the centre of the hall prowls a grafter's scion, another grotesque parody of humanity fused from countless bodies. Multiple mouths cry in discordant screams as it lumbers toward you, blades flashing from every angle. The battle is chaos, steel ringing against mismatched bone, severed arms clawing even as you hack them free. Your blows strike through flesh that feels both human and alien, warm blood spraying across the stone as you carve deeper, the weight of every limb you sever dragging at your breath. You carve through layer upon layer of twisted flesh until, at last, the creature collapses in a heap of limbs, ichor pooling black on the stones. Not every moving creature in this castle is an enemy, though. As you continue through, you come upon a man who looks equally surprised to see you as you are to see him. "Ah, nice to meet you. The pleasure's mine. Roger's the name, sorcerer, as you might have guessed." His face is hidden by a tall pointed hat with an almost preposterously wide brim. He stands there, still, facing toward you almost as if he were expecting you. He tells you he is looking for something within the castle walls. This place is bristling with tarnished hunters, you know. They sacrifice our kind for grafting. Not exactly a place I'd stroll into without a purpose in mind. You mention that you are, in fact, here to defeat Godric, and Roger gives an interesting response. You see it then, I take it. The guidance of grace. Well, enjoy it while you can. I'm tarnished like you, but unlike you, I've seen neither hide nor hair of this guidance for the longest time. Still, I won't forget how it felt when I first came here, to the lands between. He notices your sword and offers you a short lesson on magical battle arts. As a fellow tarnished, once guided by grace, I'd love to help you out if you please. With Roger's ashes of war in your inventory, you press on, fighting your way through to the courtyard. As you enter a small room off the side of the courtyard, your hand grips the hilt of your sword, ready to attack at the first sight of enemy movement. But you do not need to. In the center of the room stands a formidable woman, her tan skin taut over a muscular frame adorned in tribal clothing. At her feet lie two knights, freshly slain. As you enter, she bends down, her hand gripping the handle of a blood-stained axe, and pulls it out of the dead knight's body in one swift movement. She looks up at you in surprise. "Well, what do we have here? Tarnished, are you? Clearly not one of Godric's lot." She wipes the blood off her axe blade. "I am Nefeli Lu, tarnished and warrior like you. I'm here by decree of my father." How utterly repellent this is, this grafting of Godric's, ill befits a lord. He's tainted the very winds. If you intend to challenge Godric, I ask you call upon me. The winds run cold with his deeds. I'm certain father would permit me to aid the fight. No further words are needed. Together, you cut your way through to the castle's mausoleum below, toward the graveyard at the castle's heart. There, the stench of death thickens as you near. Statues lean shattered and waterlogged. Graves yawn open, their occupants long claimed for graft. At the center looms a dragon's carcass, impaled upon a stone monument, wings torn, skull cracked, ribs jutting like the bars of a cage. Before it kneels Godric the Grafted. His body is a patchwork of stolen limbs, arms sprouting from shoulders, legs fused to his torso, faces half buried in warped flesh. His axe, golden, massive, chipped from countless battles, rests at his side. A lowly Tarnished playing as a lord, he rasps, voice bitter. He commands you to kneel as he rises, twisted limbs flexing, lightning framing his silhouette in unnatural gold, and proclaims himself as the lord of all that is golden. The graveyard shudders beneath the first swing of his axe, a strike wide enough to cleave monuments in two. You and Nefeli scatter, circling him on either side. His many arms lash out, each wielding a mismatched weapon, each strike carrying the strength of stolen warriors. A shockwave of wind bursts from a downward slam, toppling gravestones and driving you to your knees. Nefeli's axe carves deep into one of his arms. He roars, retaliating with an overhead slam that cracks the ground in a shockwave of stone and mud. Debris rains down as lightning strikes, illuminating his malformed figure in jagged flashes. You dive forward, blade flashing upward, and roll away as he swings toward you. With a howl, Godric retreats toward the fallen dragon as he bellows for his forefathers to lend him their strength. In one brutal motion, he severs his own arm as he tears the dragon's head from its body. Blood arcs into the storm as he presses the stump against the dragon's neck. Flesh binds to flesh. The dragon's eyes flare open. With a guttural roar, it breathes fire through Godric's grafted limb, bathing the graveyard in flame. Statues crack in the sudden heat, and smoke mixes with the storm until the air tastes of iron and ash. You run through the fire and rain, dodging arcs of flame as Godric swings his axe in great sweeping blows. The dragon's head lunges, snapping and belching fire, each breath searing the air. The heat singes your skin, even as rain lashes your face. You close in, ducking under a cleave, and drive your blade deep into his chest. He staggers, roaring, swinging wild. Nefeli strikes him from behind. Her axe buries into his spine. Together, you drive him to his knees. I am lord of all that is golden, he wheezes as he collapses. And one day, we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold. With the final strike, your blade severs his breath. Godric collapses in the mud, his many limbs twitching once before falling still. The dragon's head gapes silently, lifeless at last. The storm softens to rain as his body begins to dissolve in golden glitter. Rain patters softly on shattered stone. Nefeli lowers her axe, breath ragged. The madman's reign is ended, she says. May the lands between breathe easier for it. She turns to you. Apologies, but I've idled long enough. As fellow Tarnished, we must each follow our own guidance, down whatever road takes us to the throne of Elden Lord. With that, Nefeli departs into the mist without ceremony, her path her own. In the ruin of the graveyard, something glows. Amid the muck and blood lies a fragment of gold, pulsing faintly, threads of grace flickering within. The shard is jagged, heavy with power, its light both beautiful and wrong. You reach for it, fingers trembling, and the warmth that floods your hands is unlike any grace you have felt before. This is a great rune, a shard of the Elden Ring. As you lift it, the world seems to tilt. The storm's roar fades into a distant hum. For the first time, you feel the weight of what you now carry, and the road still ahead. The light of grace unfolds before you, and you stumble toward it, ready to receive its reviving light. As you reach out your hand to the warm golden glow, she appears, her voice piercing the night, now quiet from the storm that raged just moments ago. Shall I turn your runes to strength? Let my hand rest upon you for but a moment. Melina reaches her hand out to you, neither commanding nor pleading. You accept it willingly, eager for the warm touch and the strength it will bring. A heat flows from her palm to yours, and it courses through your body, a strength far greater than you have ever felt before. Share them with me, your thoughts, your ambitions, the principles you would follow. Your runes spent, you take a moment to revel in the warm glow of the firelight and let your bones and muscles rest for just a while. Your journey since coming to the lands between has been long and arduous, with little rest. You take a piece of roa fruit from your satchel and bite into it. You notice that Melina continues to sit by your side. It is not often that she stays for very long. What is your story, you ask? Why did you offer an accord? Melina removes her hood. Me? I'm searching for my purpose, given to me by my mother inside the Erd tree, long ago, for the reason that I yet live, burned and bodiless. She pauses. There is something for which I must apologize. I've acted the finger maiden, yet can offer no guidance. I am no maiden. My purpose was long ago lost. She looks at you again, but this time seems to truly look. Her eye lingers across your battered armor, the scars on your face, your trembling, aching arms and hands. Then she looks down. Forgive me, I've been testing you to see whether or not grace truly does guide you, and whether you are fit to face the challenge that entails. You remain silent and cautious. Of your short time in the lands between, you have found that silence is the best method to keep others talking, to reveal their true intentions. It seems my worries were unfounded. Torrent had your measure from the very start, whereas I merely pretended. There is but one other thing I can do to offer you guidance. I can take you to the Round Table Hold, gathering place of tarnished champions, guided by grace. Melina sits beside the Tarnished at the Grace, her cloak damp where it brushes the wet stone. The rain has slowed to a mist, softening the edges of the shattered graveyard. The Tarnished says nothing, gaze fixed on the golden light before them. Blood streaks their armor, their hands tremble faintly where they rest on their knees. Yet there is no despair in their posture, no surrender, only exhaustion tempered by resolve. She watches them quietly, her own thoughts folding inward. Let my hand rest upon you for but a moment. The Tarnished reaches out to her, hand outstretched. Melina feels the light of grace pull them away, toward the gathering place of the Tarnished, the safe haven from this God-forsaken, cold and fractured land, and into the round table hold. It is not long before she is alone with her thoughts. Grace clearly favours them, and she has now seen why. Because they rise when others fall, again and again. Because they endure where others break. Each battle strips them bare and leaves them standing, and in that endurance she glimpses the path that will lead her to the foot of the Erd tree, to her purpose, to the answer her mother left behind, to the answer she has long sought from the one who birthed her and abandoned her, a mother whose silence feels less like sorrow and more like scorn. Melina does not long for her. She longs only to know why she was cast aside. For the first time, she does not feel adrift. She feels drawn forward by them, by what lies at the foot of the Erd tree, by the purpose forming in her chest. Whatever awaits them both, they will walk toward it together, for now.